then Helga got a letter from her mother, come home straight away. She said, I can't. Her mother was sick. You know, we wrote back, sorry, we haven't got the money for coming back now. We want to buy a house. She sent us the money for the trip to come back with the next boat. Helga said, what do I do, stay or go? So we went back on the Marconi. We came back to Germany nine weeks after. Her mother died 3 weeks after we arrived, cancer. The whole trip was for nothing.
You said that your mother-in-law passed away.
Yeah.
And then what happened then?
But we couldn't stay in Germany because we had to make up our mind if we want to stay or go away again. The kids didn't want to stay because of too many rules and everything, you know. They like to be free. So they were not happy. So Helga said, okay, we go. And then I said, look, why don't we go to America, to Ohio? I had a friend, a general. He wanted us to come over and I should drive for him, you know, because he had 2 daughters in Philadelphia. He lived in Columbus. He was a bank manager,
Okay.
Ohio National Bank. So he had plenty of money. He had a house and he had 3 cars and 1 driver. When he needed a car, the car was either broken or dirty. He didn't like it.
Okay, so you want somebody
But
to look after
we had to wait 2.5 years to
you.
even
To go
get
to America.
to get in there. And I couldn't wait 2.5 years in Germany. So we said, now we go back to Australia. So when we left Australia, we came to Adelaide. And Adelaide was about 20 years ahead of Brisbane at that time.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, Brisbane people won't like to hear that.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brisbane was behind the time. It was just old. I don't like Melbourne, but Adelaide was good. So we said, okay, we go to Adelaide this time. So we went on the next ship, on the Elinis, and come to Adelaide.
When you came in Adelaide, what year was that, do you remember?
70.
1970.
And
So
in the meantime, in Germany, I was driving semis.
70s again. Okay, driving trucks.
Because in Brisbane, before we left, I was driving school instructor
Okay.
for 1 year. And I had a semi-license, everything. So it was good money. I made good money in Germany. And we came here, we opened up our restaurant. After 1 year, exactly 1 year to the day, we opened up Helga's Chicken Shop.
Okay. That was the rotisserie chicken shop, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never saw chickens in Australia before.
Like rotisserie
There was
chickens.
no rotisseries, nothing.
Okay. So you introduced it.
Yeah, we brought it in.
Fantastic. And how did that go?
It went up good, but then after 1.5 years, there came the Uniroyal strike. And everything went downhill. No business, nothing. My customers, they came and said, sorry, we have no money. My husband hasn't sold a car in 1 month. We can't afford anything. Then they left. So our landlord was Italian, was our friend. He said, look, lock the shop up and finish.
So when you came to Adelaide, you was here on your own, obviously. You didn't know anyone?
No.
Or anything like that?
No,
So did you join the German
we went to the
club, or?
German club, and there was the vice president, he lived in Burnside. We stayed with him for half a year. Then we got a house rented in Queenstown.
Okay.
But that was houses, they were ready for demolishing for a shopping center.
So they weren't the best of order.
Yeah, so we lived in there for nearly a year before we took a flat near our shop. And when the shop was gone, I built my house here, my 74.
74, you built your place
Yep.
out here. Okay, and you've been here ever since.
Yep.
But when you came to Adelaide, which was 1970, is that right?
Yeah.
your English was like that.
English was good, yeah.
And how was English?
Was good too.
Good. So yeah, you did your shop. That would have made help with your English.
Oh, yeah.
And did you make many friends when you first got here? How did you go with that? How did you?
Yeah, we came with some people on the same boat here, migrants, but we were back one, second time. So we were in better places. They had to go to migration hostel, and we went straight in private.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, back in them days they had hostels, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they weren't very nice, were they?
In Glenelg, the hostel was not too bad.
Oh, you saw them when
They were there.
Where
Yeah.
did you go? Did you go to Pennington or?
No, we don't go in any hostel. We went straight in private.
Oh, when you went to Brisbane, when you came, when you first your first trip here, did you have to go in a hostel then?
Yes.
And where did you stay? In which hostel?
Bonegilla.
Now I understand.
That was a dump.
It was a dump, was it? It was a nightmare.
It was bad.
So there was people from all over the world.
Yeah.
In there.
Anything.
Everything. And how did you go? Because no one would have spoken English properly.
No.
And no one would have spoken English. So how did you go? It would have been a bit of a trial for you.
It was, yes. You ever can understand if somebody do driving school instructor whose English is not good? I have to teach them, and they have to pass. That was not easy. I had one office, 5 girls and 1 boy. The 5 girls passed first time, no problem. The boy failed 3 times. He was not a dickhead, but I can do anything. He was no good. He wouldn't listen.
Oh, okay, that's everywhere that happens.
I had one woman, Mrs. Johnson. When we drove, she drove in the middle of the street. I said, look, we drive on the left side. Now my husband told me, you have to take that white line in the middle of the car so you can't miss the road. I said, that's it, finish, no more. I said, how did your husband get the license? Oh, it was easy. He went to the sheriff and with his car, and he told him, drive around the corner, he come back, no dents in it, no, it's all right. Gave him a bottle of Johnny Walker whiskey and $4 and got a license. I said, and then they get in the city. No wonder it's all upside down. I said, go to your husband and do a license up there. Nah.
So you're back in Adelaide now. So you came here, you were new, you did your shop. And so what did you do after your shop closed?
I went to in the glass shop at Flinders Street. What was the name? I can't remember the name of the shop anymore. It doesn't exist. I went glass cutting.
Oh, yeah.
Then I went glazing. And then I went on to Chrysler. Worked at Chrysler for 11 years. And when the Valiant stopped, I went into Chevron glazing.
So in your
I've done
time here,
10 months. I glazed the conservatorium in the botanical garden, the big glass thing.
oh, okay. So that's your work.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a good job.
Yeah, 2 glaziers and 2 apprentices.
Is that right? And how long did that take you?
10 months. 10 months. Yeah.
Huge.
In Brisbane, I glazed one of the high-rises, 35-story ones outside.
35 stories.
Was good. Good money.
So you came here and you said you went to Chrysler. I know you had an old Chrysler Valiant, Regal, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wagon. Now that did how many kilometres?
870,000.
870,000. So that thing went everywhere.
That thing has seen everywhere in Australia, except the desert.
Except for the desert.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you took every opportunity to go for a holiday.
Yes.
So any
I traveled with that car in the caravan for 18 years.
18 years you kept that. And what did you pay for that brand new? In what year?
I bought it in, I was 76. I paid 5,600. It was 1 year's car from the production manager.
Okay, so it's from
1,200 kilometers on the clock.
it's nothing.
No. The new price was 8.5.
Okay, so you got a good deal.
I got a good deal, yeah. And the only one with a 6-liter V8.
6 litre V8, so 360.
360, yeah.
It's the Hemi, isn't it?
It was a Hemi, yeah. They came out of the American, what was it? The big Chrysler in America. What's his name?
I don't know any of
I forgot.
So anyway, so
But it was an American.
it's-
Was an American engine.
So obviously you looked after it over the years
Yeah.
and looked after you, and you went every.
Never,
So any,
never touched the motor or the gearbox.
is that right? So all original.
All original.
Wow. And because when I saw it, when I saw it them years ago, it was in tremendous condition.
Yeah.
I mean, you looked after it.
Yeah, of course. Every semi-driver in Australia knows a car.
Is that right? 'Cause they seen it on the road that much.
They've seen it on the road, yeah.
Oh, fantastic!
I talked to all of them.
Fantastic. And
We
oh,
started 95.
95 you started traveling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Up to 2014.
So you had the car from 76 until 95 before she started.
I had him for 43 years.
43 years you had that car.
43 years.
Wow. And you sold it to a collector.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Had everything. Cruise control, everything electric.
Wow. Fantastic. And you know, because it's in good condition.
I know.
Yeah. And what I was going to say to you is anything, because you and Helga did your travelling with your little pop-up caravan.
A little one, 16 foot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so it's the ones that sit big now. They're huge, aren't they?
Oh, no.
They're crazy.
Look, when you go away with a caravan, you go away on holiday. You don't take the house with you.
Yeah, that's right. Any particular thing that stands out for you on your trips?
Yeah. The Kimberleys,
The Kimberleys. And what was the thing
Western
about-
Australia.
Yeah,
It was just amazing. The best place in Australia.
you reckon for the site. And what struck you? The colours, the
The
hills?
scenery and the beach. You go to 80 Mile Beach. Fantastic. You go 500 meters in before you reach the water
Is that right?
on,
The tide's
on
out,
low
of course.
tide.
Yeah.
When the tide come in, you have to run back.
Yeah, because they have like, you know.
Yeah, it's nearly flat.
Yeah, 15-metre tides or something there, isn't it?
Yeah, in Derby, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Fantastic. All right.
That was the best time.
That was the best time. And then you've been retired now for a long time.
Yeah, I retired 95.
95, yeah.
Accident.
Oh, okay. So with Helga, I mean, I knew Helga for a few years.
Yeah.
Lady, and
Helga invented Bilo.
Bilo, you reckon? Oh, the supermarket.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were saying
that was her invention.
her invention with the owner or something, wasn't it?
Now she worked there as a cleaner, then as worked inside sale and on the cash checkout and everything. Then she said to the owner, "Look, you can't make any money. Not even a dog won't eat the same for 1 or 2 weeks. You have to change." He said, "It's half case, what do you want?" He said, "Change it to singles. You don't have to change anything, just put a different price on each item and sell it in boxes. Each item, they can pick what they want." "What do you call it?" "Oh, yeah, call it anything. Call it cheap, Bilo." "Okay," he said, "Bilo. You change the shop." She changed the whole shop
So
over,
what was the shop called before Bilo? What was it?
half case.
Half case. So that was.
They came from Murray Bridge. No, but over the hill, Mount Barker.
Mount Barker.
Yeah, that was half case. That's where John Beeks come from.
Okay, so that's the owner of the.
That was the owner of the chain, yeah.
So did he have a chain then of stores, or was it just one store? Or
No, he had 2 stores.
2 stores, and then
One in Murray Bridge.
because Bilo became quite large.
Yeah, then Helga changed this one here to Bilo in 5 days. They open up, and the sale was amazing.
Is that right?
Then he said, okay, you have to go now and open all the shops. She opened the shops up in Glenelg, everywhere.
Is that right?
She was sent there, look, change the shop, open it up.
Oh, lovely.
But he never gave her a bigger job. No.
No.
I don't believe in girls in higher places.
Is that right?
She had free lunch, everything, but no promotion.
Wow.
Then he rang up and said, look, Helga, I made my first million. She said, what for me? You got a job for life. Then he had the cheek to run up and said, look, I sold Bilo to Coles, $38 million.
Oh,
Then she hung up.
he didn't give her anything.
Nah,
Not even a gold watch.
nothing.
That's just mean, isn't it?
Yeah. Didn't like women in higher places. Nah.
It's a fascinating story about the going to east to west. You know, taking your stuff back
Yeah.
and forth. You know, going over there and then coming back empty.
I helped one to escape.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was on a Sunday afternoon. I had a general in there, and the information officer was a lieutenant from
In
the
your
base. No, in the car.
Yep.
You know, if there was a general who wants to be in uniform, then they get an information officer with us. He spoke English and explained everything, and he told me where to go. We went to the Brandenburg Gate, and while we passed the Russian memorial with the tank, there was a big commotion up on the wall. There was a podest. There was about 30 people on there, visitors. They looked over the wall into the east.
Protesting, were they?
No, just looking.
Just
Tourists
tourists.
from all over the world.
Okay.
And then they were screaming, you know, oh, yeah, come on. And one, he ran away.
From East
He
Germany.
went to the wall and jumped over.
Oh,
But they couldn't shoot because he was right in line with this podest. If they would have shot him with a machine pistol, they go like this, they shoot the tourists. So they had to let him go. And the information officer said, look, get him. So I raced up to him. The car wasn't standing. He was out the car, grabbed this man in the back, went in the front and said, airport. Blue light, Terrain, airport.
that was it.
Yeah. 10 minutes later, he was in the airport in Tempelhof, gone.
So he helped him escape. That's wonderful. You don't know who he was, or
No.
okay? I wonder if you'll ever see the video. He might remember you.
Once we helped one man, he was an engineer. His brother lived in Cologne. And the brother wanted him over with a family. So what he done was, he made a flying fox. You know a flying fox?
Yep.
To organize this, engineers, he worked in the newspaper office on the canal, right on the border. There was the mall, then there was a canal, and then the newspaper office. And he worked there. So he smuggled in very slowly, bit by bit, cables and everything, and the flying fox, and everything he needed to go away. And then he took his whole family once. They were on the roof, and we had to go with 2 trucks, you know, the personal carriers, you know.
Yep.
We drove to the border. We put the trucks reverse to the wall, a little bit away from, in the night. It was stuck dark. No moon, no star, nothing. They needed this. And in the back of the one truck, there were mattresses on the back.
What are they called?
Mattresses,
Mattresses.
yeah. Thick mattresses were on the wall. And they anchored connection for cable.
Okay.
So the man on the roof, he had a bow and arrow, big one, and there was a light in the back of the truck. So he shot over a cable with a fishing line. And they took the fishing line, put a steel rope on there, and he took it back. And then they put another steel rope on a thick one, which is big enough, strong enough to hold people and the flying fox. And then he went on there, and his wife, in the flying fox, zoom back against the mattresses.
Is that right?
Then the two kids, and the last was himself. But he had a briefcase, and when he was half down over the canal, one wheel unhooked. So he had to put the wheel back, and he lost his briefcase. But he got the wheel back and went into the truck. Then they took everything out, kept the wire back to the east. There I have it. He left everything there.
So, yeah,
An hour later, he was already with his brother in Cologne.
how cool is that?
Yep.
Wonderful. Wonderful story. And you was part of that.
Yeah, we were the drivers from the truck.
So who runs that? Was that the Americans or was that
The Americans
the
arranged it.
Americans?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, there was another thing.
What's that?
There was one Swiss tourist. He went to East Germany, East Berlin, for a visit, and he met a girl he liked, and he came over quite a few times. You could go over as a tourist. And then he wanted to take the girl out. So, but there was truck barriers, the one to cross the
Yep.
barriers, And then there was a steel bar over, which you have to go like this. You couldn't go straight. If you go straight, it cut your roof off. So he went there, and he measured how high the steel bars are. Then he went looking for a car. He found a little MG midget, where you can put the windscreen
Down.
clap over, it rusts in.
Yep.
And he modified it with the boot. He put lead in the boot lid. Then he drove over, picked up the girl and the mother, put the mother in the boot, the girl in the front seat, and he drove over. When he was nearly there, he put the windscreen down, and the American police and the German police were already waiting. And then he ducked down and put his foot down, zoom, underneath the barriers to the west. They were so bluff they couldn't shoot.
Wow. And he all over love. Got her out.
Yeah, he got out.
So the border was fairly open then to go back and forth. When did they close it off? When did they make it hard to get across?
They made it hard about 62, 63. But Checkpoint Charlie, that's where the internationals went in.
Oh, okay. And where did you go through there? Or?
We had to go to Checkpoint Charlie, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there would have been a big line.
That's where I drove Richard Nixon.
Is that right? You drove Richard Nixon?
Yeah.
Oh, this is before
I
he
can,
was... that's
I
all
can
right.
show you. I got the photos here.
We'll get a photo in a minute. So tell me about how you drove... Because he wouldn't have been president then.
No, he wasn't
Who
president.
was he then?
Kennedy was president.
Okay. So that's... 60,
Nixon came later.
Yeah, yeah. So what was Nixon's role then? What was his...
He was just
politician?
governor.
Oh, okay.
He was nice.
He was nice enough, yeah. So yeah, old Tricky Dicky, as I used to call him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so when you saw him get president, you would, I drove him, is that right?
Yeah.
That would be a pretty proud moment. That's all right. So anybody else that was really special that you drove?
No, only the general from Ohio.
From Ohio.
Yeah, I took him home to Helga. He met the girl, the boys, everything. We went out to dinner.
Lovely.
It was good.
Yeah. Did you make many American friends from the base?
No,
Not
no,
really, just everybody did their thing.
no. When you got one general drive in uniform, he had to drive exactly the speed limit. 2 kilometers over, no. I want another driver. When you got a general in civilian, beautiful. You got a good tips, everything was fine. He took you out to dinner in the night.
Yeah.
Can you get me a girl? Yes, of course, we know the girls. We know the girls, you know. He said, okay, you can drive home, I take a taxi. We got paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
He paid for the whole night.
Fantastic.
While I was asleep, I got paid,
Well, why wouldn't you?
you know.
Yeah.
He signed it, that's it.
Yeah.
The team from Philadelphia, they were the baseball team. And I had to drive a bus. I was told to show them Berlin. But they meant show the bases and everything. And I didn't show them the bases. They didn't want the bases. They wanted the city. So I drove them around. And I drove once in a cul-de-sac. Shit, what I do now? I had to drive the bus in, then like this, and get out. Just made it. It was just about 2 meters, you know, it was a 48 people bus.
So you,
It was not a small one.
3.2, and you did 103.2, was it?
Yeah, always a little bit over until I had him out. And then I came back to the base, and my boss said, "Where you been? We tried to find you." I said, "You told me to give..." "Yeah, because the airline is waiting here, they have to go back." But there was one colonel, he was the trainer of the team. He said, "Look, not his fault, it's our fault. Don't blame him, you know." And then the captain from the airport, that was our big boss, you know. The colonel said, "Look, he done what we told him, that's it, forget it." Was good. I got $120 in tips.
How good's that?
Yep,
In marks or
dollars. American dollars, yeah.
Oh, that would have been a fortune then.
Yep. Richard Nixon even gave me 4 Kennedy dollars, half dollars.
Is that right?
Was a good job.
It was a good job.
Fantastic.
And checked on everything, you know, every
Yeah.
time you go somewhere. Coming here must have been a real culture shock for you.
Yeah, it was. Everything was free. But the English, they were snobby.
Snobs, were they? Give you a hard time, the English.
Yeah. I went once into, Helga told me to buy 4 Christmas plates, you know, the little plates where they put Christmas stuff on there. I went to Coles in Brisbane and asked the manager, he was standing on the entrance. I said, "You got Christmas plates?" He said, "Yeah, see that girl there, she had them." So I went there. She was criddling something on the paper. Didn't even look up. I said, "Sorry, I like 4 Christmas plates." "Haven't got any," she said. Didn't even look up. And I saw them there. I said, "Look, that Christmas plates, I'd like 4 Christmas plates, please." "I told you I haven't got any." I went mad. I said, "You don't even look up. What's the matter with you? You're here for work or you're playing around?" And then the manager came over. He said, "What's the matter?" I told him. And he said, "Look, go home. You're finished here." And he gave me the Christmas plates, everything was all right. When I came back from New Guinea, I was so black, they wouldn't let me in the shop. Yeah, I was black. Even Helga didn't recognize me.
It was a hard
I
time back
knocked
then.
on the door, she opened the door, look, bang, close the door.
Well, and when you was over in Papua New Guinea, what did you do over there?
We built army camps.
That's right. And
That was fun. I had the biggest laugh in my life.
is that right?
There were 2 friends. We had to build columns for a movie, cinema theater, you know. And we had to do the concrete boxing. I never done any concrete work before in my life. I had no clue. But the blacks, they were fantastic tradesmen. And the Australians, they treated them like dirt.
Is that right? Oh, that's terrible.
We treated them normal and we were fun. We didn't have to work. You're here only for wood supervising. That's what the black man said. You don't have to work. Supervising, that's all right. There was one, he was from Rockhampton. He was a carpenter for about 25 years, an older one. And the Aborigines, they all spoke German. Because from the First World War, they were all German
Colony.
colony. So they told us jokes, and the Australian couldn't understand him. And he was angry. And the black ones, they laughed. You know, they had fun. And you know, when you do a foundation, the foundation is never completely level. When you put the box down, you have to level it out. He puts it down on the bottom, the concrete was fit in, and the box was like that. The next one, he put a plumb bob on, was like that. They went like this, right up. The next column was even worse. He turned the whole column around. The blacks, they turned it around. They made so many mess, but he never checked anything. He just put a plumb bob on there, nothing. That's all. And then one Swiss, he was an electrician. He came and he said, "Gee, what is this? A corkscrew?" They had to take the columns off, put new ones on there.
Start again.
Oh, he was mad.
I bet he was.
We had a laugh. I never laughed that much in my life. And then
So you enjoyed obviously the place. So how long was you there for?
we were there for 4.5 months.
Okay.
But then there was malaria. Was a lot. And when you had malaria, you couldn't go back to Australia.
Oh,
So if I catch malaria, I could never go back to Brisbane.
wow.
So
That's a big scare.
Manfred and I, we left.
Yeah.
Said, "No, that's no good. Go back." Because he had his wife there.
Yeah.
You know, we lived in the same house. And I had Helga with the 2 boys. I didn't want to stay in New Guinea for good.
Mm.
So we
Yeah,
left.
that's right. It would have been a hard life over there. Yeah. All right. Did you have rations in Germany?
That was in the 50s, yes.
Yes. So
In the 60s, no more.
no more. Yeah. And yeah.
But the
things-
payment was 3.8 marks an hour.
Not much at all, is it?
$1 Australian was 4.5 marks then.
Wow. Yeah. So when you came here, how did you find the standard of the wages and the standard of living? And
When I came here, I worked for $38 an hour a day.
a week or a day?
A week, sorry. $38 a week.
Okay. And how did you find the cost of living here?
Cheap.
Cheap.
Bottle of milk, 4 cents.
Yeah.
The bread, 10 cents. We went back to Germany with Bernd. We went in the supermarket. You know, when we went back the first time,
Yep.
came in the supermarket, and Helga wanted to buy a steak. That's what her father or her mother's man said, was the second one, you know. And he gave her, and she said, 11 marks for that little piece of... I get that for $1 in Australia. Helga went with Bernd shopping, and Bernd always out, you know. They came on the checkout, and he was talking to Helga in English, because I was normal, outside English, inside German. And the girl said, "You can speak English?" "Of course I can, you know. Can you tell me what it is?" "Yes, of course." He said that a few times, and about 3 times they went shopping. She asked again, she said, "What is this?" "I told you before, if you don't know it, you will never know," he said. He never answered. He never answered anymore.
Didn't answer, help her out anymore.
No,
Uh,
she was just joking.
yeah. All right then. Thank you for that.
Ich hoffe, meine Zuschauer haben Spaß an unseren Erlebnissen. Es war fun.
Now,
Australia is better. I hope the one who visits have a good time. Australia is fantastic. I never go back.
Thank you for that, Gunther. And we'll have that beer. What do you reckon? Would you like to try that beer?
Yes, I like it.
Well,